All right. So what are we doing here? We're trading NQ, right? So let's go over what happened today. All right. So let's do some market replay back to 9:30, and I'm gonna show you guys how do I actually find my trades and what happened today. So I'm gonna do a market replay to 9:30. All right. So the first thing I usually do is I look at before 7 o'clock, right? So let's go to 7 o'clock right here. Wow. And I chart the low and the high. All right. So this is the low after 7 right here. And this is the high after right here. So this is 7 o'clock low. Sorry, this is 7 o'clock high, and this is the 7 o'clock low right here, right? This line is 7 o'clock, anything before here, right? So we got the high and the low. So now, I'm looking to see what happened, right? I see that at 7:30, it swept these highs, right? It swept the highs. And what happened after it swept the high? It came low. As you see, it kind of created a little order block, a bearish order block right here. See that, right? Wow, drop down. Now, these are the lows. Is it gonna come down and take the lows also, or is it gonna come down and go back higher? Right? This is pre-9:30. This is pre-9:30. So we see at 8:20, around 8:30, it takes the low, right? It takes the low. So now we have the 8:30 low, and we have a high over here, but we have the same high. So you see how it didn't. Okay, so we have a new high right here, right? So we see it swept the high and it swept the low. Right. So now before 9:30, what we have buy side up here. So this is minor buy side liquidity up here. And then we have down here, this is minor sell side liquidity. Internal sell side liquidity. Right? Now, let's look at if it's any double tops or double lows above us or beneath us, right? I see here, this is kind of, let's see. So this is yesterday's low right here also. So you gotta mark out the low and then the high. So we got the low and the high. Okay, wow, we got our levels. Now, let's see what happened at 9:30. So, and then I'm gonna show you guys how I got into my trade also. So mind you, we still have this bearish order block right here. Two up close candles, close below the fair value gap, respecting. You see how we respected the upper quadrant of this level, showing very bearish. And that's why we came and took this low, right? So now, let's see, let's press play. So 9:30 open, it dropped down and took the lows. So you see that, let's pause it. So 9:30 open, it dropped down and just took the lows. So first thing I'm looking for is the first presented fair value gap, right? Because that is a premium, that is a P area, right? So they're drawn out right here. So we have the first fair value gap that got presented after 9:30, which is a level. So now we see that it took the low. Where else can it go? How far can it go, right? So let's go to the 5 minute right quick. And then the 5 minute low is down here. Okay. So let's zoom back in. Let's go back to the 1 minute. So that's why it's important to be patient. Before you jump into your trade, just be patient. You want to be an observer of price, right? And you know the market loves to do three things. It loves to accumulate, manipulate, and distribute, right? So we see how it basically opened up and it just went to the downside, right? So we don't know if that's a distribution or if that's a manipulation, right? That's why you have to have your bias, so your buyers can match, right? So we have the first presented fair value gap right here. So let's see, do we go take these lows or we bounce back higher? Let's see. Let's play. Came up, we couldn't touch it. We distributed down. Going lower, let's fast forward a little bit more. Let's see how far we go. Bam. So we tap the 5 minute low at the bottom. So now let's see what we do. Do we keep going? So every time it sweeps a low, you want to see what do it do after it sweep the low. Do it consolidate? So you see right here, it's kind of like consolidating, right? And then you see a market structure shift. So you see this market structure shift right here. So you don't want to try to time the bottom, but you really want to just chart out what happens. So we see how, man, we have an order block right here, 2 up, 2 down, close candle, or close below in the area where we wanted to go back higher because we already just swept the lows, right? So it just distributed up past these candles, right? So this is the order block right here, 2 up close candles, fair value gap. And this is the play where I potentially started to get in on my play today. So let's see what happens. I got in around this moment, but let me see. I waited after. Okay, it came in. Okay, Bob, let me pause it. So you see how it created a fair value gap. It came. So you see how it couldn't even come into the fair value gap. So this is called a breakaway gap, right? This is called a breakaway gap when the market creates a market structure shift and it don't have the willingness to trade back into the zone, to the fair value gap, which is leaving it unmitigated, right? And then look what it did. It created another fair value gap right above it, which is called a proportion block. So let's see what happens. So this is where I got in at. Wow. So let's pause it right quick. Another order block right here. 1 down close candle. It created it's probably a small fair value gap right here. Let's see. You see it? It's a small fair value gap. If you go to a smaller time frame, you'll be able to see it. And this is where I basically got in at. So let's jump in. Put my stop loss below here. We're going to target his buy side. First of all, we're going to target this first presented fair value gap, because that would be the first TP, right? So let's go see what happens. So you see how it kind of consolidated here? So look, smack TP, right? Okay, now it's at the first presented fair value gap. So let's see what it do. Do it consolidate? Do it manipulate? What does it do? Okay, what do it do? Okay, it's coming down. Let's fast forward a little bit. Bam, came all the way back. So look, it came all the way back down to this zone, right? So let's see. I'm gonna jump in again on another contract. Stop loss below. Take profit back above here. Let's see what happens. Okay, I did expect it to actually hold some resistance right here at this level. Let's fast forward and see what happens. Back at it again. So it should have treated as an inverse fair value gap right here. This should get treated as an inverse fair value gap. So you see how it did a little bit, but then eventually it just dropped down. So they're showing it still want to go lower for the moment. Probably want to come back down here, back to this unmitigated fair value gap. So let's fast forward a little bit more. Came back above, reclaimed it, dropped back below. Let's see what it do. Let's see what it do. Came back above. So you see how it's respecting this level right here also. So this is what I mean by being an observer. You just want to be an observer to see what happens at certain levels. So finally we broke above this zone right here. Let's see what happens. We cannot hold above, so bam, we finally took TP. So now, so you see this? So let's backtrack what happened. So we see at 7 o'clock, it created a high and a low. It came up, created a bearish order block right here. It swept the high, created a bearish order block, came back, respected, showing signs that it wasn't willing to trade up into this upper quadrant of this fair value gap, showing signs of bearish, right? Came back down, swept the lows. After it swept the lows, 8:30 came back above again. Used this same order block fair value gap right here as a PDRA, and it respected it. and then just dropped again. So you see how you could have caught plays right in pre-market before market open. Right, the market open, dropped down, created the first presented fair value gap, dropped down lower, swept sell side, swept some more sell side, came back down right here, started accumulating right here. Once you start seeing this is signs of maybe want to go back higher. You just have to wait and be patient and wait for the market structure shift, close above, right? So it closed above, created a order block, a breakaway order block, then it created another order block, which is a proportion block, and just ran to the upside, touched the first presented fair value gap, rebalance. Remember, because the price loves to do 4 things also. Price loves to generate liquidity, take the liquidity, rebalance to inefficiency, or rebalance to equilibrium of the range, right? The range that you're in. So it's a back and forth thing. So that's why I love ICT concepts, because it's more reasons behind the move, more reasons behind why price do what it do, right? Then eventually it came back down, tapped the order block again. So you see what I'm trying to show you? Like, it's important to know where you're supposed to put your stop, because if you put your stop in the wrong place, you definitely can't get burnt. That's why it's important to understand what's going on before we start jumping into trades. Right? Came back down, respect. So at this point in time, I got out. I only had one trade. My first trade was here. I got in probably like around 950 something. No, it is 950. I got in like around here on my actual account. I got in like around here, and my stop loss was always below here. It ran up here. I got out a little bit early once it started, respecting this level right here. I got out a little early and then eventually ran. Then it came back down. So you see how you can literally catch plays up, down if you know exactly what's going on. But like I said, hindsight is 20/20, and it's not actually that easy. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, the more you watch it, the more you actually be able to understand what's happening. So like I said, I did go 1 for 1 today. So this is my market replay. Me reviewing my trades, and this is after 12 o'clock. So yeah, man, and basically that's it. That's my market replay. And like, if you have any questions about what happened right here, put them into the comments, and I promise I will make a new video explaining, or answering your actual question. And like I said, I trade ICT concepts, which is smart money concepts, which is order blocks, breaker blocks, fair value gap, inverse fair value gaps, stuff like that also. And like I said, any questions, put them down below in the comments. Appreciate y'all for tuning in.